It says, where is the reference smoking up all the smoke and drinking up all the drink from? Is it from a movie? I can't remember. I hope to find the actual soundtrack. I created that. Smoking up all the smoke, eating up all the food, drinking up all the drink. That's me. All right. I'm the creator of many, many, many expressive phrases. All right. I created that. Now, if you can prove somebody else created it, let me know. But I created that. All right. Because that comes from the idea of in relationships, what you do in the intermediary of relationships does not count as the woman getting things. So when the relationship ends, she's not going to count that. So when you took her to vacations and you took her to all-inclusive resorts and she had lobster and crab and steak and you took her on dates and you bought her gifts and you did this and you bought her laptop computers, all of these things that you do in your relationship, your marriage, even with your kids, your daughters, your sons, this doesn't count. That is what you were supposed to do. Now, then when she comes out and says, this is what I need to be equalized, alimony, child support, you're like, hey, baby, I did all these things. I bought you computers and I took you on trips and vacations and you smoked up all my weed, right? You never had to pay for weed. You never had to pay for 2C and crack. All right. I gave you vacations. You ate up all the food. You was up in the airlines and flying up drinking up all the goddamn champagne. You was at the party. You was getting gifts and tricked on. It don't count. Okay. So they'll come out after the fact and be like, you owe me this and he did that and he never did this and he abused me. What about all that food you ate up? What about all that alcohol you drunk up? What about all that weed you smoked? What about all them computers and gifts? What about when I bought you dresses and shoes and shit? What about when I took you to nice restaurants and shit and you was eating and never had to pay a fucking bill? That is drinking up all the drink, smoking up all the smoke, eating up all the food, and going up all the vacations. What happened? Cassie talking about he took me to here, the Intercontinental. He took me here, coast to coast. All right, ocean to ocean. None of that counted. None of that counted. She still was suing the nigga for $20 million. That's an example of smoking up all the smoke, drinking up all the drink, eating up all the food, 5-star restaurants, first class flight, private flights, chartered flights, tour buses. If men added up all of that, you'd be like, bitch, you crazy. So it doesn't count. All right. I don't care what type of relationship you're in with the woman. None of that counts. At the end, remember this young lady said right here. We're going to call her a young lady. All right. A young lady. Okay. And that's where, all the boat trips, all these fantastic things you did for them, it was what you were supposed to do. So it doesn't count. Remember, this woman said it. I'm going to get into a relationship with this person and then I'll keep coming back. I'll be victimized. I'll come out. I'll get clout. I'll be the victim and I'll make money. That's her smoking up all the smoke, drinking up all the drink, eating up all the food, taking up all the trips. That's her doing that, and it counts for nothing, okay? She's still looking for a bigger bag. That's the same thing with child support and alimony and division of assets and property. The only difference is when you're dealing with women of the night or workers or sex workers or OnlyFans, you pay the fee up front. That's it. Sometimes you might pay a fee in the middle if you hella tricking on them, all right? You might pay the fee in the middle. But when that relationship is over and the last dime has been dropped and the last payment has been secured, there's no future payment. There's no future payment. She can't sue you. She can't say you owe me for something afterwards. She can. Typically, it happens. But typically, she would have to go and report that she was getting tricked on. You paid the $5.99 for the OnlyFans. She can't ask you to pay for more after you done right-click saved all the photos and videos, right? You didn't went in there and graped her whole OnlyFans for $5.99. And you went scroll, right-click save, scroll, right-click save. She can't come in and say, now you owe me more after the fact. Can't. It's over. That's all you getting. $5.99. You might get me for that recurring charge. Whoops. All right, cancel. You got $10.99, $11.99 out of the motherfucker. So that's the difference. You can cut off the spigot. But typically in emotional relationships in general, can't cut off the spigot. They can come back for the back end payment. All right, which is same thing. If you have children, child support, back end payment. Yep, 20K a cheek, 25K a cheek. He said no. She was like, all right, cool. 23 million. 23 million. So that's where the hidden cost is, where people are trying to say this. And I'm like, bro, 23 million. One woman literally blew Shannon's money up. Shout out to Kaylin, since women choose who they want to give their vaginas to, including their own husbands.